Welcome to FYI. A very good morning to each and every one of you. Big shout out to all of you guys who are joining us this morning. We're broadcasting live from the national capital city here in Georgetown, Guyana. We're privileged to have all of you guys with us this morning. Yes, and power today, folks. We got a full day ahead of us, and we know it's the same for lots of you wonderful folks joining us from all of the places that you guys join us from all the time. And we're so privileged to have all of you folks here with us. Kyle Bino already here. Some of y'all are sleeping in this place, or some of y'all sleeping in this place. Good to have you, Kyle and Siobhan. Great to have you folks. Claire Alexis Charmley Richmond is here with us, and Debbie Apple Loretta Argyle already here, folks. And we're going to take the opportunity to share the live as well. That's the cost of admissions, folks. And smash that emoji button too. How are you guys doing? I know it's cold in lots of places where you wonderful, beautiful, and fantastic people are joining us from. It's cold. Yeah, we're going to make the best of it, guys. We are surely going to make the best of it. You're joining us from Facebook, you're joining us from the tube, right on YouTube. There is the stickers feature there where you guys can partner with us. On Facebook, you have the stars feature there as well, and we commend them to you folks to help us to keep moving forward. And you guys know all the other ways in which you can subscribe to our program. Alexis Williams and Mornis Toby to keep us moving in the right direction. Good morning to each and every one of you. Again, if you're now joining us, because we just sent through some of the other pages, if you're now joining us, folks, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Good to have you guys. Les 2 weeks is here with us, and Grace Noel. Grace, I don't like and share. Oh, y'all be like Grace now. Oh. Y'all be like Grace. Folks, how is it out there this morning? How are you folks doing? Good to have Kyle, as I said. Debbie is here as well. Debbie Collins is here. Let me right around the corner. Good to have Shelly the Ridder here as well. Shelly and Grace, and I see we got Terrence Beaton here. Folks, we are truly happy to have you folks here with us. Yet another day. We look forward to starting the day with you guys. We look forward to starting the day with good people. It's not just the any and the all sorts. What's happening where you folks are? I usually beg you all, drop a headline. Especially if you're joining us in the diaspora. Something happened around the corner from you. Drop us a headline. Do let us know what's going on at your end. Still waiting. I got my cup, folks. I ain't born the people cup again. I'm not born. I want to say a very good morning to Juanetta, who sent me a lovely cup. Thank you so much for that. And thank you, the other person, Big Auntie from Atlanta. The Big Auntie from Atlanta, folks, wherever you're joining us from, if you're joining us from a consulate, a Guyanese consulate in some part of the world, good morning to you folks. We're going to give you guys a snapshot of what's happening at our end. But some of the things making the news at our end, locally here in Guyana in the 592, regionally as well. And if we get to some of the stuff happening closer to your end, folks, we get to them. But take the opportunity, Andrew Griffith, Jolly Anderson, David Fernandes, and Michael Gittins, and share the live for us and smash that emoji button as well. Wherever you're joining us from this morning, folks, again, we're tremendously privileged to have each and every one of you here with us. Let me make sure I get my bearings correct. Yeah. Let me get my bearings correct. Marva Jacob says it's cold. It's cold. Marva says it's cold. Tracy Clark. Folks are sending some of this warmth to y'all. Cyber warmth. Sending it your way. Folks, as we come on this morning, we encourage you to share the live. Smash that emoji button, folks. We got to keep moving. We got to make a go at it. The first 15 things we think you ought to know about as you start the day today. Lots happening out there. The first 15. It's not plenty. It's a couple. A couple of things we think you ought to know about. Lynn Fernandes. A couple of things I want you to know this morning as you start your day. Marvel says it's unusual for Georgia to be this cold. Lynn says it's very cold at her end. I know Lynn is in New York. It's very cold. Folks, make the best of it. Oh. Bundle up. Put on your layers. Aletha Galloway, good to see you there as well, Alethea. Do I pronounce it correct? Alethea. Jessa and the other folks who join us. Raquel Gentle. Raquel, how are you doing? Good to see you on the light this morning. The first 15 things we think you ought to know, but as you start the day today, there's a lot happening out there. The folks joining us on Twitter or X, marks the spot, formerly Twitter. Those joining us on the Tube, our Tubers, one of our favorite places. Those joining us on the Tube, good day to you folks. The fast book set. Veronica Primo Rollins, Bossman, Boozman, is it Boozman? Yeah? Please. Good morning. Yeah? Cervical. The cervical for me, folks. The first 15 things we think you all know as you wake up. The pronunciation is important. Enunciation. Pronunciation. Rohan Basantram. Good to see you, Rohan. Hope your year has started strong. Cheryl Sampson, Yolanda Rowena is here too. Good to have you, Rowena. I'm on my second cup of coffee for the morning. Who vex? I said, boy, enjoy my cups. I think I'm putting it too far. Yeah. I'm enjoying my cups, folks. The boy things. Good morning, folks. Welcome to FYI. First 15. Yeah. I know you need breakfast. You might. Some of you just you see certain folks and you just have a gut reaction. You don't want to start your breakfast with some folks. You don't want to start your breakfast with some folks. Just a natural reaction. Boozman says coffee is good. Here's to you. Henry Rodney is here as well. Loretta, crime, serious crimes at least, they're telling us, down 17%. It's interesting what's happening in this country. Interesting. Yesterday was the 17th day of January, and the Minister of Home Affairs had his end of year press conference. I tell you, ropes and Benn mix up and upside down. You don't want to believe me. Mix up and upside down. 17 days in, he's having his end of year press conference. Yep. You see, he's been coming to the table very slow, very pedestrian, as is his style. As is his child, folks. Very slow, he's been coming there. Got there 17 days late. Right. But we believe somebody fiddling with the numbers. There's a general belief out there. Somebody's fiddling with the numbers. 17%. With all that we see and know, I don't think there's a Guyanese family who hasn't been affected by serious crimes in some. It's just in nature. See, it's about 14 of us in this country. And every day we chronicle this. Something is happening somewhere. So 17% reduction probably was at 100. Andrew Griffith, Sharon McPherson, Devon Hughes probably was at 100. 17% reduction. With Peters at 83, we're somewhere there. Folks, the maths, right? You're all the way too strong with the maths. 17%. And I saw the Commissioner of Police who was sitting next to the Minister of Home Affairs. He had a kind of look on his face. Very telling. Like he couldn't believe it himself. You know when you surprise yourself? It's like when Trump won that fateful night. Trump seemed a little surprised himself. Like, wasn't expecting that. Where do we go from here now? Yeah. Commissioner of Police acting. Seem a little startled by that. 17% reduction. It's true. Do you believe that? Sheila Hazel, Royston Campbell, Pam Halls. Do you believe that? There's a 17% reduction in crime. Got to take that with a little pinch of salt. Ingrid Pollard and Debbie. A little pinch of salt. The second thing, it's only 15 or something. The second thing we think you ought to know about today, folks, well, not the second thing. As we run that, right? As we run that, they've been talking about using CCTV cameras. We said number one, using CCTV cameras to help in this regard to find the criminal elements. And we told you guys last week that Starbuck News took exception to some of what was being proffered there, and in a very what's the word I'm looking for? A very biting, right? A very Dalrymple-esque editorial last week, the 15th. Starbuck News said facial recognition, because they said these special CCTV cameras in this smart city, smart country, security apparatus, master plan, and so on. And what do they know about the facial recognition aspect of this? Mr. Jagdio said in his press conference last week, right, he introduced this idea, we're going to be able to pick you up quick. Starbuck News said in his editorial last week, facial recognition is riddled with all sorts of problems that this government, which has a proclivity for control and ignoring the opposition, will be unable to satisfactorily handle. You all remember when the bash, that one bash, was found with the spy equipment? But this is 2015 2.0. Post 2015. Starbuck News said this is riddled with problems. All sorts of problems. This whole facial recognition in software and so on. Jagdion's press conference just last week said it's for the government to be able to track criminals at any point in time. Folks, person with a criminal record, they want to track at any point in time. Do y'all remember us discussing this? Do you remember us discussing this, good folks? This has some very, very serious implication. And that is why Starbuck News, as the fourth estate, is already sounding the alarm bell hits here. It's riddled with problems, and this government is not going to be able to handle that at all. Remember when they were hiring folks, outside of the security apparatus in this country, outside of the army, outside the police force. One man had taken a whole page. Alan Kaichon, you see, he was hired by the government to do X, Y, and Z, spy equipment and all. Could you imagine such technology in the hands of Mr. Jagdio? Could you imagine that? It's frightening. It is extremely frightening. Listen to him at that press conference last week on this issue of security master plan and CCTV cameras and facial recognition and all of that. While Benn says, the numbers are down 70% serious crime. You're fiddling with the numbers. Take a look.
We have a master plan for improving security in the country. Security. So we need to do that. We need better trained police, which we're working on separately. But we also need a whole range of facilities and technology and upgrade of the environment. You need that building, and you need which would be a central police station that can do a large number of things, not just policing. But have you gone to like Scotland Yard? I've gone there and seen how operations are done. The central police station, it might be 12 stories high, but it would be the nerve center for crime fighting across the country. And in a modern environment, we have to support the technology will support it. It has to be bolstered by good quality forensic labs. We're already putting in security cameras with facial recognition software. We're working on a biometric project that would allow us to know every person in Guyana, every criminal in Guyana who has a record, we can pinpoint where they are at any moment in time. Through facial recognition software, we'll be able to track every person who comes into our country who overstays their visa or anything else. All of that being worked in at different pieces. So it is not just a building we're putting up there. It is a plan we're rolling out. So that has to be done, as well as upgrading all of our police stations across the country, as well as better equipping them and ensuring that we use technology for better security in our country. We have a master plan for improving security.
Yeah, there you have it, folks. There seems to be a belief that the higher the building is, the better equipped you are to solve crime. That seems to be the nexus there. See, Benn says serious crimes down 17%. That's number one, folks. Number one. Second thing, as we run crime, second thing, in that press conference yesterday, they told us that in terms of foreigners in our prison system, Venezuelans are the largest population of foreigners, the largest group in our prison system. Yeah. Largest group. We've been calling for a more structured approach. A more structured approach to how we deal with immigrants, how you deal with folks who are here on a humanitarian basis. We know the Venezuelan economy is way down, and folks are leaving by the thousands and millions. We need a policy to deal with that. Venezuelans could outnumber us in the jail. So we might want to watch that. The largest group of foreigners in the prison system is Venezuelans. And folks, again, if we don't watch ourselves, that could be population-wise. We have a small population in comparison to Venezuela. Floyd Rose, Gavin. What's the population of Venezuela? I know numbers in the millions. Give us a quick figure. The researchers on the live, give us a quick take. Venezuelans, the largest foreign population in the prisons of Guyana. Folks, you all think we're ready to grapple with the kinds of issues that wealth brings? Next thing you know, half the prison, this is Venezuela's. We've been occupied here for a long time. Prescriptive rights. Half the prison belongs to us. Levy Gosses is 28.2 million. Folks, you only got to send a 1 million here, and we are second-class citizens in our own country. Tenants on our own land. They're going to send out 28 million and 1 million, and we'll be overrun. So we need very, very structured policies and approaches in which we deal with this. Yeah, believe it or not. Thank you, Forbes, as well, all the researchers. Quick, 28.2 million. Correct? We might want to watch that. We might want to watch that. The third thing we think you ought to know about, folks, as you start the day to day. You ought to be cautious out there. Care, concern, and caution. All the C's. Last year, road deaths, they tell us, was up 76.8%. 76.8%. Road deaths. Fires up 102.5% last year. Now, they're very slow to the game. Very, very slow to the game. Very, very pedestrian. Because you would know we've been on this front a little while now. Fires on the PPP. Talking about this almost strange phenomena. David Hamilton, Kyle Bino, Anton. There's but 12 of us in this country. How could something burn every single day? How is that possible? Like, how is that even possible? Donna and Tessa, Penelope, Wanda, Sheila Boychuk. How was that even possible? Pray tell. Y'all know we've been tracking since the year started. The latest we've looked at is Rose Hall. Just over the last 72 hours, single mother lost her home. She was out for a little bit, got a call, house on fire, got near, and it's gone. It's about 12 of us. How all these fires, this got to be a study for the folks up at the University of Guatemala. Miss Constantine still lecturing there in sociology. Mr. Hicks still there. Who else lectures in social? We got to study this as a phenomenon. Please and thank you. Since the year started, Region 6, Region 3, Lagrange, Metamurzog, Lenora, Port Droin, fires. That's Region 3. Region, which is this? The ice, folks. Region 4, leading the way. Yarra Cabra, Vreidslus, Agricola, New Providence, Seafield, Beefield, Good Hope, South Ramville, fires. Region 6, Port Morant, fires. God, fires were up by 187% last year. I'm certain if they do the comparison for the corresponding period, you'll see a spike there. But we got to move beyond just the data now. It's good to have the data. That data must influence policy. I think that might be how governments are run. Well, sane governments anyhow. That's how governments are run. We got to push past policy too and go to the spiritual realm. I don't think there's a country on earth, a place on earth that has fires like that. I don't think so. Don't think so. The fourth thing, folks, we want you guys to know as the day starts. Why is the Auditor General report silent on the Bamia Primary School? You know that award for the Bamia Primary School was given to Hits and Jams owned company, Statement. And we warned. Not that we loved our brothers any less. Who got for make a bread, got for make a bread. Who got to eat your food, got to eat your food. See, this thing here can be troublesome. And we invited them on our own show, and they came so graciously, spoke to us. We managed a few contracts in the past. Give us a chance, Guyanese. Give us a chance. Well, we did. Here we are. Here we are. Well, we might have to start questioning now the professionalism of the Auditor General. It's already been questioned many times. Why would the audit report be silent in the Bamia Secondary School? Is it going to be silent too in Taipei? That $1 billion contract, the board nest contract, it's going to be silent on that as well. So much. A government that says it loves transparency, good governance, accountability, so much for that. You see, when you remove the gloss and the fancy talk, you'll end up with the real thing, you know. You'll end up with the real story, the whole thing. Wasn't it Sir Arthur Conan Doyle that says, when you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. That's where you're going to arrive at. So as the general, pick up the pace. Silent in the Bamia. We love our brothers over there at HD. They've done a phenomenal job in the entertainment industry in this country, like so many others before them and after them, no doubt. But this contracting thing, you see, when I get my contract for my roads and my bridges, y'all don't come around me funny, you know, to build my schools and airports and so on, airstrips. Don't come around me funny. Because if you don't want to lift your voices, no. When will you do it? Right? People got to eat bread in this country. People got to make a bread in this country. You got to eat your food, but we got to do it the right way. That's all we're asking. That's all we ask. We got to do the right way. The fifth thing, folks. Fifth thing. 4 years in, by the time these cases get underway, March, April, May, June, July. We're right there, 4 years in. People saying they got so much evidence. They got by the canter loads. They can't get one conviction yet. January 6th is an infamous day in U.S. history. Remember the insurrection on Capitol Hill? They've already jailed quite a few folks. 4 years in, we're going wrong in circles. We're going wrong in circles. A couple of weeks ago, Magistrate Leron Daly told the special prosecutor, Darshan Ramdani, your statements mix up here, man. Get it together, Darshan. Pick up the pace, Darshan. While AG is blaming magistrates for delays and who recusing themselves. Bring proper case, man. AG, bring proper cases. 4 years out. 4 years out. You know, 4 years out. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, the trial is set to begin in March, folks. March 4th. Bogus evidence, bogus fraudulent charges, trumped up charges. No one conviction. People should be ashamed to talk about a rigged election. Should be ashamed. You didn't rig the election, you can't bring the 4 cases. You didn't rig the election, but you fighted the elections petition. Tooth and nail, but you didn't rig. Then you did a commission of inquiry. And the principal person at the GCOM, at the Ghana Elections Commission, like Bamia Primary School, is absent from the report. Claudette Singh is never mentioned in the report, and her own conduct, which came under severe criticism. by one and all. Her conduct, I frighten any election on the clandestine. Any election. She might have been a good judge in her day. Might have done good in that field. But this thing here, but she come, no, Claudette, no. We got to pack up your clothes. As chairman, in a garbage bag and put it down by the roadside. Pack up her clothes, her chairman's robe. There, the Elections Commission. In a garbage bag and put it down by the roadside. Please and thank you. The case is set to commence March. 4 years on, folks. You know, when do we think of the people we're prosecuting? We're dragging them here, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and kicking the can down the road because the thing is not, it's just not there. It's just not there. We can keep watching it though. That's the fourth issue. And those cases are set to begin on that case is set to begin on the 4th of March. And we just had a $1.146 trillion budget. Is it me? How do we have a $1.146 trillion budget? Nonetheless, it's good to see Rubis fulfilling its corporate obligation. Social benevolence. It's good to see them doing that. You know, they recently partnered with the Chameri Primary School to help to get water to the school. They told us that this, it's about $2 million this cost them to do that. To get water to the Chameri Primary School. You know, I love that they did this. Help our children out in this way. You can't wait on these months. We'll be waiting a long time. Next year, budget will come around, we'll still be talking about the Chameri Primary School needing water. Water is a sore point in Chameri. What is Sheikh Bash doing there at GWI? Waste. Total and absolute waste. What is he doing there? What is he doing there? Thank you, Rubis. Thank you, Rubis. And the other side of that, this government should be ashamed. 1.146 trillion. Water can't meet the schools. 4 years in. Chameri is around the corner. Chameri is not Timbuktu. A hop, skip, and a jump. You're in Chameri. Boom. We can't get water there. This is where international flights landing. People can't get water there. Folks, we're playing in this country now. We're talking development. See? Development is 12-story buildings. It doesn't have to be development. It could just be clean water coming through my tap. Whenever I need it, I turn that tap on and boom, water is coming through. That could be a sign of progress too, consistently. You remember in December, you were telling us, oh, the generators are coming. Ball by ball coming through. They're here. Oh, they're taking out the container now. They're putting it down on the ground. They plugged it in. They just off the back. Ball by ball coming through. Now they come to tell us. It's the lines now. It's something with the lines. That is why blackout's still with us. Leaders must solve problems. Leaders must solve problems. 12-story building for police station is not crime fighting. Please and thank you. We got to solve problem. But thanks, Rubis. Seventh thing. Think you guys ought to know about. The seventh thing today. We're halfway there, folks. Look what's happening in Guatemala. They got some very, very tense situations happening in Guatemala, folks. Right? Alejandro Glamatay, banned from entering the U.S. That's what happened to some of them, you know. Not only the visas going to be revoked, not only that, don't even come in. Right? You see folks wearing pinstripe now with the just dry run. Don't even come in. Right? Visa revoke, rendition, political turmoil in Guatemala. Political turmoil there. Right? He was barred from entering the US. They tell us over allegation of his involvement in significant corruption. The State Department said recently, significant corruption. They tell us that he was replaced just Monday gone here by Bernardo Avarello as a leader of Central America's most populous country. Yeah, Guatemala. They said, don't come by Uncle Sam. Serious allegation of corruption against former president there of Guatemala. They said, don't come about me. Don't do it. That's what happened to some of them. To Raquel, Kyle Leon, Jacqueline Johnson, Debbie Collins, Annette Cummins. That's what happened to some of them. Rendition, orange jumpsuit, stripe, gray. Visa revoke, turn back. Don't come. Don't play it Uncle Sam. Don't do it. Florijo. Let's turn our attention. You know, Joe Hamilton is being very soft with some companies, given the health and safety infraction that keep bursting onto the national scene. Excavator operator dead. This excavator tumbled down somewhere. Mining pit cave in. One just recently. Now, this headline this morning. He's having meetings on fatalities in the construction industry. Gotta move beyond meetings. We are not representing the workers of this country. And in too many instances, you get a sense that the government is partnering with these companies. Too many instances. We got to safeguard the interests of our workers, especially with regards to health and safety. I don't think we practice half the things. We were taught in occupational health and safety, for instance, when I read that course at University of Guyana. I read it as a work and thinking, I never hear about this. I never see this in my workplace. Safety is everybody's business. And Joe Hamilton and his ministry, they have to be doing more for the workers of this country. More. Please and thank you. Right. Scaffolding collapse, man fall off building, somebody electrocuted. You're not a friend, you're not a partner with the private sector businesses to bring harm to workers. You've got to stand in defense and demand that we follow standards. We kind of trillion-dollar economy here. People climbing posts without harness, and without protective equipment and so on. Little Dubai, little do who? Roxanne, safety first. Roxanne Garway says, yeah. That's the 8th thing, folks. Think you wonderful, beautiful folks have to know about this point. Moving on, folks. Moving on. Look, story A. You see the throw gun over fence? See the throw gun over fence? Last night we had Kemra Jonathan on our program. Leader of the Alliance for Change, member of Parliament who shadows the Ministry of Home Affairs. And I was making a point to him. You throw down a gun, sometimes it misfire. Could you imagine me just driving up to the police station and throwing guns over the wall? Or we hit somebody in the head now. The gun falls, misfire. You see, a farmer from the hinterland was struck by pellets. On Sunday, they tell us, Upper Masharoni, Philippi Village. Police are investigating this matter. Jerome Tony, a 35-year-old farmer, he had to be flown to the Georgetown Public Hospital for treatment. The statement said, inquiries reveal that the farmer is a licensed firearm holder of a 12-gauge shotgun. How he got struck, hit with this pellet, it's a mystery wrapped in an enigma. Could you imagine people just going throwing shotguns over the police station wall? Throwing guns over the police station fence? What if you got 2 grenades, you got a rocket launcher? And then the other side to that, you know, we got some elements on the inside of the police force. Not all. We got some decent policemen and women. Beautiful policewomen. But we got some elements in there as well. Will all those guns be registered? Huh? Big Sahib pick up one here. Or they're going back on the street in rental. A very half-baked, harebrained idea. Surely got over the fence. Licensed firearm owner could hardly manage his own gun. When a toss gun over fences now. A shotgun line the police in my head. Here is the Minister of Home Affairs saying, dash your gun over the fence. Yesterday is 17th of January. End of year press conference.
Let's say that we're looking at the question, isn't the penalties in relation to road traffic fines. The question may be out if you're a repeat offender as to how we treat with that. That has to involve all the discussion for ourselves and the AG's chambers. In relation to gun crimes, having of illegal guns, we doing any amnesty. Those who have guns and shouldn't have them should perhaps walk into the nearest police station and pick them up or put them somewhere where they could be. Not supposed to have any illegal guns. If you look at what has been happening in Jamaica and some Bahamas and some other places, question of having an illegal gun, those instances has nothing to do with being somebody in the bush and wanting to shoot white hogs or whatever. It has to do with criminal activity. Has to do with criminal activity. You have an illegal gun, pass by the police station, put it in the bag and throw it in the yard. And then we might be drinking anyway. But don't have it. We're thoroughly against it.
Yeah, there it is. I find like Commissioner of Police acting Clifton Hickens, he didn't believe this toss a gun over fence story. You know, hardly cope with licensed firearm holders, much more people tossing guns over fence, you know. Gotta think some of these things through and it comments. That's so. Ingrid Austin, think some of these things through. Yeah, please and thank you. Please and thank you. The 10th thing, let me telling you about fires earlier. Culture News editorial this morning is on the issue of fire. Culture News editorial just this morning is on fires. 187% increase. Minister of Home Affairs told us yesterday, last year's Fires, 187%. Here, Culture News, in its editorial today, talked about fires. In the span of 10 days, a total of 13 buildings have either been completely destroyed or severely damaged by fire. 13 buildings in 10 days. It's one trauma after another, the editorial says, in quick succession, with lots of loss and grief in the wake of those fires. It is going to be difficult, the editorial says. It's going to be a difficult year for almost all the citizens now forced to cope with homelessness, loss of precious belongings, and forced to pick up the pieces any way they can. When fires in this country make an editorial, you know it's very serious. You know it's very, very serious. Things just combust in this country. And as part of this editorial, Sabbath News was talking to us about talking to our children in a very deliberate way. But the dangers of playing with fire, playing with matches, playing with incendiary devices. Went on to talk about policy that's lacking in this regard. There's no policy on smoke detectors. You buy it if you're feeling a little bougie. There's no policy on that. We want to commend that editorial to you folks in today's Culture News. Fires. That's the head of the editorial. Right to the point. Fires, it says. Trauma in the soul of the nation. Death by fire. Last year we lost 20 of our young people. 20. You know, the 5 soldiers that we lost. When that helicopter went down, they said some of the bodies were charred beyond recognition. We got a problem with fire in this country. We got a problem with fire. Call it ashes. We got a problem with fire in this country. I did tell you about the CCTV cameras we're putting all over. All over. CCTV cameras. All over. We're tracking criminals. Before I head in though, this is the Minister of Home Affairs on that very issue of fires. Before I head to the 11th thing we think you ought to know about as you start today. We're still on 10. Let's revert. Recommit to 10. Folks, the fires. Take a listen to what the Minister of Home Affairs said yesterday on this very note.
There has been a tremendous increase in fires in the country. The significant problem is the increase in malicious setting of fires. I won't want to speculate too much as to why this is occurring, beyond perhaps the suggestion that it has to do with more economic development, but also criminal activity, and also reckless use of or the setting of scores between persons. We have said to the fire service that the issues in relation to the malicious setting of fires and issues in relation to arson are to be turned over and followed up completely with the Guyana Police Force. We are aware, and we have been speaking with the Ministry of Human Services in relation to the support which ought to be given to persons who are losing property and also lives in relation to fires. We have to support the persons who remain behind, who will have losses, who will have injuries, and we have to work to reduce, by way of public messaging, issues in relation to the use of fire extinguishers, fire safety and awareness, smoke and fire detectors, and also on the question of the use of fireballs. These are things which ought to be.
Yeah, there you have it, folks. The Minister of Home Affairs walking us through very serious issue of fires. And we got to do a lot of education. The use of extinguishers, avoiding incendiary devices and such and so forth. We got to do this. We got to do this over and over. They believe if they do it once, they've done it enough. Like educating people on that this equipment belongs to we. And one day of that, last year, they're done with that. Until this equipment is a big feature again. Until the Venezuelans start saber rattling, we gone back to the status quo. That's very sad. So the CCTV cameras with the facial recognition to track the criminals, you see, it's operational in region 3 and 6. How convenient. Operation, we got to keep region 3 and 6 safe. It's been rolled out there first. They'd have us know that. Be careful what you're doing out there in the street. Somebody might be watching you. Uncle Sam, Uncle BJ might be watching you. Be careful in those streets out there. Uncle BJ might be watching you. They roll out, they say the master plan. It's a secret. We haven't heard of it until now. This master plan for security in the nation. So now we're hearing about it. Please and thank you. It's now we're hearing about it. Folks, the 12th thing we think you ought to know about as you start the day to day is you planting all this marijuana. Who got this land? Huh? The upper Borbis River planting all this marijuana. You hear about that, you know. We've seen these headlines, 250 million in ganja and marijuana destroyed. But what happened to the big fish? They still plant itself. In the upper Borbis River, this marijuana just invented itself up there. What's going on? Who owns this land? You mean the police just swooped down there and saw this farm and nobody around and so on? To give information about the cultivation of $255 million worth in ganja, marijuana? There's something smelly about this whole story. That's all we keep hearing. Marijuana being destroyed, but you never know it's who planting it. Tracy Clark, Amita Carroll, Sheila Boychild, Wenda. We never know who planting it. That's a little strange to me. Not plenty strange. A little strange to me. You see? That's a side hustle. How did Nisa Gopal's mother get released early? Huh? How did Nisa Gopal's mother? Nisa Gopal, Queen's College student, brutally murdered some years ago. See? Memories don't leave like people do. And that's another trauma in the soul of this nation. Stuffed her young body in a suitcase. In the age of shallow graves, we found Nisa Gopal's mother free quite recently. Many years early. Who was involved in that? Investigation still ongoing. Investigation still ongoing. Yeah. I don't know if they interviewed the prisoners or the authorities. Investigation is still ongoing. I don't know who they're interviewing. The prisoners or the authorities. Still ongoing. Yeah. Yeah, she was promptly returned. The president had to get involved for her to be returned, promptly returned to prison. But let's say that was a mistake. let's say the authorities got a match wrong. You know, match meeting week. Let's say you can already tell who they vote for. You know the match meeting in this country. Let's say they got the calculation wrong. Can you imagine the trauma in the soul of the woman? Don't see her as a murderer, but as a human being. You think you're going home. Your expectations are high. Won't have your hopes dashed. Yeah. Investigation is still ongoing, nonetheless. Still ongoing. That's what they tell us. Yep. But ultimately, folks, this budget is trouble. This budget is trouble. Infrastructure, $236.17 billion. My God. Agriculture, 97.6. Huh? Poor Eugene. Eugene got his luck. Eugene helping us to understand maths a little better. He ain't got his luck. The maths and matching for Eugene. 4 billion. 4 billion. You know, I got some set pieces. In this whole thing, you got some set pieces in politics. Folks, if you stick around here long enough, you know the rhythm of politics in this country and the personalities, the issues behind the news. You know it. You stick around long enough. You know, I got some set pieces. Oh, yes. You never see a bad word from some places. So, Private Sector Commission, PIM, says it's a boost for growth, 1.146 trillion, infrastructure and well-being, budget 2024. No doubt, it's more for the boy, and some of the boys are right in there. No doubt. It's a boost for growth, infrastructure, and well-being. And the Ghana Manufacturing and Services Association, they were happy that some of their recommendations, they said, were taken on board. The GSMA. They're only too delighted. And you know, we're happy if they're happy. Isn't that how it goes? GMSA commends government for proactive, forward-thinking budget 2024. Two of the headlines in the state newspapers, Chronicle. GMSA commends government for proactive, forward-thinking budget 2024. In the Chronicle, those were two of the headlines. Stick around here long enough, you get to understand the rhythm, the moods of politics in this country. That's what we saw. You know, set pieces, you see. But some other folks who've been thinking a little deeper about this issue, they got some issues. And one professor in economics at the University of Ghana, Dr. Thomas Singh, he says there is need for long-term planning and savings as he looks at this budget. As he tries to rationalize it as an academic, as a citizen, there's need for long-term planning and savings, Dr. Thomas Singh says. And this was carried by the Mara waves overnight. You know, the folks who understand these issues practically, theoretically, we got to hear from them on these issues. Right? Some boys going to sing for the supper, and then you got the independents, you got the professionals, you got the technocrats. And this is what he said. But it goes on from there. Right? If the government spending, he says, is what we call pro-cyclical, That is to say, government spending increases when there's a boom. That is a recipe for trouble. This is what the academic is saying. If the spending is pro-cyclical, pro-cyclical, cervical, that is to say, spending increases when there's a boom. He said that is a recipe for trouble. How they're gelling with you, Brenda, Kyle, Annette, Debbie? How they're gelling with you? In every discussion on the way we spend oil revenues, Dr. Thomas Singh says, economist Thomas Singh, the way we spend windfalls, if our fiscal spending, right, is pro-cyclical, it means that when there is a recession that requires fiscal spending, we won't be able to do that. How the gentleman with you, BJ? Huh? You can come down and abuse out Thomas and say he know economics. The man studied things at the PhD level. You got a doctorate conferred you. You can come abuse the man now and say the man don't know nothing. It's Thursday, over to you. It's Thursday, Big Sahib, over to you. Dr. Thomas Singh said, if that is how we're spending, we're in trouble. Well, if I got to believe Dr. Thomas Singh on one side and Jack Joe on the next side, folks, you think it's a toss-up? If you got a man who is in this thing, studying it every day, right? Is Jack Joe I can believe? Thomas Singh says we're in trouble, Dr. Thomas Singh. We got to watch at that. How are we spending this money? We got to watch at that. That's the 14th thing we think you ought to know about as we start today, folks. And finally, you can eat the bridges. You can't eat the roads. That's what the people used to say. $236 billion for infrastructure. Some folks got a little issues with that. Some folks got a little issues with that. I wish we had the time to unpack that, but we will in the next podcast. Folks, that's going to do it for our time with you guys this morning. Marcia Jackman, that's going to do it for our time with you beautiful, fantastic folks. We want to thank you guys for spending this time here with us. $236 billion in infrastructure, installed projects, in substandard work, in thievery. More for the boys. No wonder you see some set pieces. More for the boys. Right? Are we going to hear a word raised about Eugene? Are we going to hear a word raised about Eugene? You employing folks with Corsair or with CXC? You employing folks who say they study somewhere somehow? Or are you going to rest your faith in the accreditation of the University of Ghana? We're going to have that discussion on education. Wish we had some more time this morning. Laverne Wade, good morning to you. And Angel Wade and Jermaine and the whole crew there on the West Coast. Good to have you, Diane and Edward and Leslyn. Rishi, great to have you as well, folks. That is going to do it for us at this end. We have to turn our attention to other things, folks, happening today. Stay safe out there. Stay vigilant, folks. And we are tremendously happy that we've had all of you guys on with us this morning. Oh, we took the volume right up there. Thank you guys so much for joining us from all the places you joined us from at home and abroad. It's been a privilege being here with you. As you go, folks, share that live, smash that emoji button, and remember to partner with us as well. You're heading into the city, folks. You're looking for a Justice of the Peace Commissioner votes to affidavit for all your documentation needs. We want to recommend the Alistair Collins firm to you. They're right down near the Callion Mall on Lamaha Street between Camp and Waterloo Street. On Lamaha Street between Camp and Waterloo Street. Experts on all your documentation. If we recommend them to you folks highly. That being said, folks, we're going to see you guys in the next one. Stay safe. Smash that emoji button for us before you go. Partner with us as well, folks. Share the live too, so others get valid and credible information. Have a fantastic rest of the day. That's our time. That's our program. Stay safe.